How do I start a conversation with my daughter about acne without her feeling pressurised or that her spots are an issue for me?
Well, conversations between parents and teenagers are a really interesting area to look at anyway. And I think the first thing is to think about is how are you having conversations with your teenager? Forget the acne for a minute. Just think about other parts of your relationship with your teenager where you're having to engage with them and share a conversation. And you know your child best, so where is that going to happen? Quite often teenagers don't want you to be sitting right in front of them, eyeballing them like this. Maybe you need to go on a car journey, maybe you need to be watching TV together, but see if you can introduce it in a really natural way. You might want to ask a rhetorical question, something like, I'm just wondering if your skin ever really winds you up. And also maybe use a bit of humour. Whatever you think might work best for your child, you know your child best, so find a good time to start that conversation. I'd always say make sure you're fed, watered, relaxed, calm, not rushing out the door on your way to work, that kind of thing. But set up the scene well. Also, do your research, find out everything you can first and foremost about what is out there for treatment for acne and for spots so that you actually know what might be available if she wants to talk about it.
My son has really bad acne, but I can't get him to go to the doctors. I'm really worried about the scarring. How can I talk to him to go and get the treatment that he needs?
It's very hard, isn't it, when as a parent you're worried about something but your child doesn't appear to have any issues at all. The chances are, and a recent survey has shown, that actually boys as well as girls, they're very, very concerned about how they look. It's just that he hasn't found a way to talk about it. He might be talking about it online with his friends through Facebook or something like that. But if you really are concerned, you know him best. You might be able to talk to him in a casual and relaxed way. You might want to say to him, do you want to come shopping with me? And then look at products he might need, other toiletries, and see if you can bring the conversation round in a natural way so that he has a way to approach you. He might be the kind of child where you could actually just ask him outright. You know him best, and I think that the trick here is to lay yourself open, to make yourself available, be a listener, be there for him, let him feel that if he wants to talk to you, he can. Also, worth getting the advice right as well, and there's plenty of information there. You might want to go to the doctor yourself and talk this through with the doctor and find out what they would say if you were able to get your son to come in and see the doctor. But get your advice right and be a listener, probably the best things you can do.
My husband teases my daughter about her spots and I think it really upsets her. How can I reassure her and explain to him that it really bothers her?
I think you do need to tackle your husband on this one. It's really critical for girls, teenage girls particularly, to hear good messages from their dad about their physical appearances. It's not quite the same as saying you're not going out looking like this, but if he's teasing her, then that really can have some very serious effects on her self-esteem, how she sees herself, how she feels about herself. So find a time to have that chat with your husband and don't attack him, don't nag him, but just say to him that when you speak to her like that, I feel concerned that it is really upsetting her and I'm wondering how you can help me with that, or I'm wondering what else you can say to her, or if you're worried about her spots, talk to me, but we really need to build her up. I know she's very worried about them herself and we need to support her. So have that kind of conversation with your husband. With your daughter, then again, if you've got a way of having a good conversation with her and to support her in her hour of need, sometimes products that are really better for skin can cost more money. You might be able to support by buying those for her, take her shopping, see what she needs, be her friend, be there for her, but please sort your husband out.
I suffered with acne when I was a teenager, just like my daughter does now. How can I talk to her without sounding patronising?
Teenagers today are under a lot of pressure and how they look is very, very important to them, boys as well as girls. One of the things as parents that can make a difference is to use empathy. That is, try and just relate to how they're feeling and say, you could say something like, I guess it's really hard for you when you're worried about your spots and you look at pictures in magazines, you look at your friends, and perhaps you wish you had skin like theirs, so that you're not directly attacking them or offering unasked for advice or passing on your own concerns and worries. you need to be there as an empathic, listening parent. That's the best thing you can do, really.
I don't know whether my daughter's acne bothers her or whether she wants to treat it. How do I ask without upsetting her?
There's a great idea in the world of parenting which is called problem ownership, and what that means is, whose problem is this? Is it your problem because you're the one who's anxious, or is it her problem? Is she upset, or is she just carrying on anyway and she's not really that bothered by this, and this is really about you worrying? Very understandable. As parents, that is our job. We worry about our children all the time. You might want to start off by perhaps finding some photos of you as a teenager and having a conversation with her about what life is like for teenagers, how things are different for her now, and recognising that she is under a lot of pressure as a young person growing up in the 21st century. Look out for clues. You know your daughter best. If she is worried, make yourself available. Allow yourself that space and time to let her gradually reveal what it is that's bothering her. But if you get it wrong, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Admit that you got it wrong. Say, I'm sorry I asked the wrong question. I care, I love you, I just want the best for you. If you want to talk to me about this, I'm here to listen.
If my kids want to see a doctor about their acne, I want to be supportive without being overbearing.
If there's one thing a parent can do, it's learn how to be a great listener. And what I always say is, think of the people that you can talk to when you've got a problem. What is it about that person? Chances are they don't say very much, they certainly don't judge you, and you get that sense that they're really there for you. They might ask you how you're feeling and be absolutely comfortable with whatever you say back. And that's the great gift that you as a parent can give your teenage son or daughter, is that sense that you are there for them. You're not going to give them a whole plate full of unasked for advice. And also being comfortable with silence. That's another really important thing. Sometimes we come rushing in with a whole long list of questions. You seem a bit down in the dumps. Is it your boyfriend? Is it your schoolwork? Is it what you had for supper? One thing after another. It's far too much. Go with one question, wait for the answer and see what they come up with.
I thought I had a good relationship with my son, but when I try to talk to him about acne, he just closes up. Where am I going wrong?
Well, sometimes teenagers go up and down all the time, don't they? And sometimes they want to talk to us, sometimes they don't. And our job as parents is sometimes to guess what's going on. It could well be the acne, and a recent market research survey has shown that boys are about 91% just as concerned about their acne as girls are. I would often say, what's going on in the rest of your relationship? Can you have good conversations anyway with your son? How do you do that? What are the best ways to set that up? Some parents say talking to each other is easy when you're on a car journey or you're watching TV together, and it's not a direct conversation, which can be a bit threatening and can actually close young people down rather than open them up. So think about how to really get your relationship with your son in a good place before you go down the acne route. You might want to then try saying to him, I've noticed that you are looking around for products to help your skin. If you're at all worried about it, what would you like me to do to help you here? Shall we go to the doctors? You could suggest a few things. Don't be surprised if it doesn't go too well, but don't give up. The most important thing is, what does it take to keep that door open between you and your child, and go with what's working.
My daughter seems very withdrawn. Is it due to her acne? And how can we help?
Well, it's very clear that acne can have a significant impact on young people's social and physical esteem at a time when they're undergoing maximum social and physical development. And there's a lot of research to demonstrate just that it can produce anxiety, depression. It's been shown that patients with acne are less likely to be employed, and we don't know whether that's because of their acne and that they are not confident at interviews, or whether actually employers see them as less attractive to employ. So there are all sorts of physical and social problems that are associated with acne. So I think the answer to your question is, could your daughter be depressed because of acne, is definitely yes. And it's very important that that is actually looked at carefully. I don't know what you think about this, Judy, but it's something that we see quite a lot of in the clinical arena.
Well, I think it's very important because the the way in which a young person perceives their physical image is hugely important to them, and market research is showing that it's just the same for boys as well as girls, even though girls might be the ones buying far more makeup and beauty products and that kind of thing. They are very, very concerned about how they look and how they come over to other people. And of course, the pressure socially is enormous for young people. Celebrities don't help either, I'm afraid. And it's very interesting when you show a magazine picture to a young person and they want to know how to look like a celebrity, and you talk about how photographs are airbrushed, and it isn't really what that person looks like. There's a lot of makeup and airbrushing involved as well. But it is a very, very heady time, adolescence. You're likely to be up 1 minute, down the next, and halfway through a sentence with a young person, you can suddenly find that their self-esteem, their mood can change instantly. So lots and lots of things going on for them, but never lose sight of the fact that what they look like is enormously important.
What else can I do to support my son on these issues?
I think parenting is one of the best and the most challenging jobs in the world, and it lasts a lifetime. And I would often say to parents, please get the support you need. If you're worried about your child and their skin condition, and you are passing those worries on to your son or daughter, that's probably not really going to help either of you. So what support do you need? What are the conversations that you need to have, perhaps with your partner or a good friend who can really be there for you, so that you can get this issue into perspective and be the best you can be when it's time to talk to your teenager?